Welcome back to another episode of Crystal Lake Fishing. I am in my truck in a parking garage at work the day after diving so I could edit this video. Yesterday on July 4th, I was filming and we hit 500 subscribers while I was out. So I'm gonna post the footage from yesterday today because I think it's a really cool day of diving and I wanted to accelerate it so y'all could see it as a kind of 500 subscriber special. So enjoy the video. Welcome back underwater, everybody. This is the first spot. You can see the viz is just terrible. We're out in 30 feet. I'm using a pole spear, and we're too shallow for the viz to be any good. But I end up not putting the pole spear down all day, which I like because I had previously been shooting the pole spear a lot and just not been shooting anything. And then for some reason, on this day, it just clicked, and I was able to really pop off with the pole spear. But you can see the viz was just not ideal. I think one fish got shot in the whole first hour on this spot, and we had 8 people in the water. So we picked up and moved to the next spot. At this next spot, they sent me down to check the viz and see if there's fish on the bottom, etc., etc. So I head down, and you'll notice that with my duck dive on the pole spear, I kind of climb down the spear. That's because turning the spear in the water creates so much drag that you want the spear to be vertical and you move yourself with it as opposed to you moving the spear itself. So because I'm just checking out the bottom, I just kind of get down and I'm hovering and I'm looking around. I see some structure, see that almaco, I see some more structure, and I'm just looking around, and then I see this hogfish, plug it, and take him up so I can show everybody that there's fish there. Nice little hogfish though. Dive, I forgot to turn on my camera until I got to the bottom, but you can see I'm diving a bit more of the structure now. I don't really know what this is. It's like natural rock, but it's in a very clear, distinct line, which is cool. I kind of just would crawl down the line as I dove this spot. But you can see this big school of mangroves, and it's really hard to hunt a big school of decent sized mangroves because you have to pick one, or else they'll kind of flick away from you. And I was, I couldn't pick one. I hesitated, and then I saw that big one. He flicked away. And instead of trying to hunt him, I just switched again to that one. And I saw this other one, and I nailed him. But I got lucky on that dive, because you should hunt mangroves in those big schools. Like, pick one and wait for him to give you the shot that you want, because they will stick around in schools like that. Alright, this next dive, I do a little bit better of the isolating a fish and shooting it. The way down, there's this silt layer that I just got past. You can see it, how it went on the GoPro. It went from green to like a bluer tint, but in the water it was like a big layer of snot and silt, and then once you got under it, it cleared up on the bottom. But you can see this kind of like line of natural structure. They're not really ledges, but they're definitely like rocky structure, and it just was full of life: hogfish, red grouper, mangroves. And I get to an area that's got a nice little school of mangroves, and I pick one out, and this time I plug him. On a side note, those fins that I'm wearing, the penetrator whalebone carbons, are my favorite fins ever. They are amazing, and they match the Neptonics wetsuit really well. This dive, you can try to hold your breath with me. I think it was like a minute 30. I don't remember, but I drop down, get past this silt layer, and once I get past the silt layer, I'm on a little bit of a different part of the structure than I was dropping before. And so I do some exploring. So instead of going straight to bottom, I'm kind of hovering around, looking for another school of mangroves, maybe looking for a hogfish if there is one, because this part of the structure is much bigger than when I was diving before. But I look around, I'm looking at these mangroves, and I'm not really getting convinced by any of them. And then I look out to the sand to try to see if there's a hogfish around. No hogfish, so I turn back in towards the structure, and I see these nice 2 red grouper just hanging out. And I get real excited. And that noise, I don't know what that noise was. I know I didn't make it, but that noise spooked him, and then I took a rush shot and just see what happens. Oh, I was so mad on my way up. Those were nice red grouper. That bottom one was bigger than the top. Bottom one was probably 24, 25. Did you make the breath hold? Alright. This was cool. I saw a guy get a 2-for-1 shot, and this dude was killing it. His name's Michael. Had like 4 or 5 hogs at that first spot in like 30 minutes. Another double shot that I saw, which was crazy. That this guy got 2-for-1 shots. But now I'm on the way down, and I'm diving the back end. I kind of missed the structure a little bit, so I'm like, alright, I guess I'm looking for hogs. And I drop down, and immediately there's a nice one right there, there's a nice one right there, there's 2, but I see an even nicer one out in the distance. So I wait for him to give me the shot and plug him. And that's a nice hog. It's not my PB. My PB's in a video I'll post in a little bit. But he was nice. PB on the pole spear though. That counts for something. Alright, this dive, I was recovering somebody's shaft. He actually is a subscriber, his name's Connor, and he shot a mango and went into a rock and tangled up, and so I went and recovered his shaft because his reel locked up, and he left his gun down there with it. And I'm on my way up, and I see these AJs, and I knew he was going to take a shot on one. This isn't Connor, but he took a shot on the AJ, and I just tried to haul ass to get clear of that line, make sure I wasn't about to get wrecked. But that was a nice mango Connor shot. Alright, now I want to get a nice mango, so I head back down to the bottom, and this silt layer was like very frustrating. Not frustrating, but the viz on bottom felt like it would have been top to bottom if there wasn't that silt layer. Get down, and I'm totally off the structure, but I get saved because I see this big rock out in the distance that's just covered with mangoes. So I head down to it. I'm just sinking at this point, I'm not kicking. I see one nice mango, and I wait for him to come out on the other side of the rock. And boom. That one was over 18, a big mango. So we switched spots after that. We're on our way to the next spot. It was called AJ Rock, and you'll see why it's called that. But Evan shoots a red grouper almost immediately, and I see the Goliath that ate it on the way down, and for some reason Evan cuts his line, so I go down and grab the line to try to pull the shaft at least out of this grouper's mouth. You can see how it's slacked because Evan cut it. And I just yank it. Like, I'm just putting force on it, and I let go of my pole spear and I try to yank with 2 hands, and by some miracle the shaft comes out. You get the shaft back. But
I got your back. It's got a little bend in her.
But that Goliath is going to be really relevant in a bit. If you saw the intro to the video, you'll know. but he was being such a pain. So, drop back down, and I kind of like that I have the pole spear, because with the Goliath, I can get that fish to me really quickly. Just slide it back up the pole spear. But yeah, that's why it's called AJ Rock. It's just covered in AJs and spadefish and stuff. But I'm dropping for mangoes and red grouper, especially because I saw that Evan got a red grouper, so I know they're here. You can hear the anchor clanking on the rocks. All of these mangoes are legal, and a lot of them are really nice. I'm just being picky. Waiting for a really big one to catch my eye. And I see one right there. Choke up on the pole spear, bam. And you'll see how quick I'm able to get that fish to me because I got the pole spear. It's real nice. Now I barely got this guy on. I gut shot him. It's kind of low on the gut too. So I'm trying to get him to my chest. I ended up getting him though. Alright, this next dive is the biggest mangrove that I shot of the day, and it was right in front of that Goliath's face. So I get down. This spot, the viz was better. The GoPro doesn't really show the viz being better, but it was. I was having trouble equalizing too this day, so you're probably hearing all that stuff in my ears. I get down, I start looking for another big mango, and I see him come up from around a rock there. Boom. Stoned him. Best stone shot of my career. Look at that Goliath come in right and hot. Screw that thing. Oh yeah, I gloated a little bit. But yeah, that was a really nice mango. Alright, this dive was hectic to say the least. It was also a little bit of a long dive. I sat on the bottom for a bit, and so, I mean, you'll see. I'm gonna roll it. I just don't know what to say when I'm on the way down on these deeper dives. Just kind of talk. Okay, so we are dropping on the side of the structure where I had noticed a cave on the dive before. I didn't approach the cave that dive because I didn't want to spook anything, and it was the end of my dive, and I just wanted to breathe up and see what was in it later. And I look into this cave, and boom, nice red grouper. And I don't like this unicorn shot, so I waited for him to turn. And I plugged him. And then I knew I was going to have to wrestle him out because this Goliath was going to freak out. And you'll see this Goliath come in super hot, boom. Just hit me right in the leg. But we secured the grouper. It was a nice red grouper too. It was a 23. Alright, so when I put my red grouper in the boat, I had heard talk of a cobia that had shown up, and they were like, oh, it's hanging out with the AJs, da-da-da-da, and like 3 people had missed it or something, and so I hopped back in, and I was like, I'm gonna try to shoot this cobia with the pole spear, so I connected to my belt reel, and I dropped down, not really expecting much, and then I look to my, like, I'm not ready at all. I have this kind of belt reel wrapped around my knife, and there it is. Clear as day. I'm not ready. I don't even have the rubber in my hand. I grab it, and I look. There's a big AJ in front of it, and he gives me a shot, but I don't like it, so I'm going to wait for a better shot. So I drop lower under him and rush him. Boom. I stuck him right in a good section of the tail, but you'll see that Goliath come chasing him. And that thing eats him before I even get to the surface. Which sucked. But yeah, I'm pulling up the belt reel line. The Cobia's already gone. Very sad. He really messed up my pole spear. Evan also shot this nice mackerel.
Let me grab his tail. Alright, we had a great fucking day. Good job, guys. FWC's pulling right up to check out our fish.
We got a bunch of snapper, almaco, lesser, the red grouper, bunch of hogs, and a lot of mangoes. Here we go.
We f***ing killed it today. Good shit, everybody. I am going to eat a crazy amount of food. I don't know what you two are doing, but I haven't eaten since this morning. I'm gonna have like 5 burgers.
Nothing to eat all day.
5 burgers?
I'm eating a family-sized meal right now.
Let's go.
Let's do it.